So at the end of Season 3, we find out about the world outside the walls. So now we can get into Season 4. It starts off with a boy laying down in the middle of a battlefield with a concussion. The boy's name is Falco, and his brother Colt shows up and rushes him to their side of the battlefield. Colt briefs the commander on what just happened, that the Eldian unit was destroyed, and tells him that there's no hope in the battle. The commander, Commander Magath, shows the first instance of racism, refusing to listen simply because he's Eldian. Falco soon recovers from his head injury, but is suffering from memory loss. 3 other young soldiers jog his memory by reminding him of what's happening. The battle is a climax of a 4-year war between a kingdom named Marley and the Mid-East. They intend to sink the Mid-East Allied forces fleet at the port, but it's defended by Fort Slava, a near impregnable fortress with high ground and numerous cannons. Falco and other Eldian recruits, also known as warrior candidates, are sent to the front line to judge their abilities. They're being tested to see who's worthy of inheriting the next armored titan, as Marley will need all the power they can get for their upcoming invasion of Paradise. Currently, Gabby is the most likely to inherit the armored titan, as she has both the best grades and is the most successful in battle. Zofia and Udo, the other 2 recruits, are close in ranking, but Falco is nowhere near any of them. Gabby wants to inherit the armored titan to, I quote, slaughter that island of devils who've done nothing but make us suffer. I'd like for you to keep in mind that all the warrior candidates who hate Eldians are still Eldians themselves, so we can see the existence of internalized racism. Colt tries to persuade Magath to authorize use of the Cart and Jaw Titan, Peak Finger and Porco Galliard respectively, to end the battle quickly. Magath refuses once again, explaining to Colt that the Titans are Marley's most powerful weapons against other nations. He points out a massive train with an anti-Titan cannon that could kill one of the 9 Titan shifters with ease. Any loss in Marley's military would weaken their hold on the rest of the world, so they can't risk it. This is especially important to Colt, as he's next in line to inherit the Beast Titan. Magath decides to send in an Eldian unit of 800 soldiers to destroy the rail at any cost, when Gabby interjects saying that she has an idea. Gabby walks across the no man's land and surrender, dragging a bag of grenades behind her. The Midi soldiers are about to shoot her when she throws the grenades at the railroad, knocking over the train. In a blimp above the fort, Zeke and Reiner jump with a force of Eldians to join the battle. Zeke screams, and all the Eldians turn into Titans and wreak havoc. The battle goes smoothly until another armored train shows up and blasts Reiner's arm off. Reiner destroys the train and teams up with Galliard to destroy the fort. Zeke lands and throws barrels at the fleet, but they fire back with cannons at the same time. Reiner blocks them, but they knock him out. The defeat of the armored Titan marked the end of the era of Titan domination. When the citizens of Marley are talking about the battle, we see a man who looks like John eavesdropping. The military holds a council, where they decide that the power of humanity and their technology has finally eclipsed the power of the Titans. If aircraft technology were to keep advancing at the current rate, bombs would fall like rain. Zeke recommends they resume the Paradise Island operation and recover the Founding Titan before his final year as the Beast Titan is up. Commander Magath asks Zeke if they can conquer Paradise in a year's time, being that all 32 scout ships sent to Paradise over the last 3 years have disappeared. Afterwards, the Eldians are sent to internment camps to spend time with their families. On the way home, Falco finds a group of injured soldiers, a disguised Eren Jaeger among them. Gabby and Reiner have dinner with their parents, and Reiner gives a PTSD-induced monologue in remembrance of his old friends. The next day, Zeke and the rest of the high-ranking Eldians, also known as honorary Marleyans, hold a secret meeting. Zeke says Marley should enlist the help of the Tiber family, the holder of the Warhammer Titan. They're influential abroad for driving away King Fritz during the Old Great Titan War, so they'd be helpful in gaining support from other nations. Zeke tells them about an upcoming festival where the Tibers will announce to the world within a year they'll control Paradise Island, when it's revealed that the Marleyans are listening in on their conversation. The next episode is a flashback which gives insight into Reiner's life before the original attack on Paradise. As a child, he wants to become the Armored Titan so that he can live with his Marleyan father, the only problem being that he's the worst out of the candidates. Still, he was picked for the role soon after and goes to see his father. His father tells him to go away, fearful that his Marleyan family would be hanged. Marcel Galliard, Annie, Bertolt, and Reiner are sent to Paradise to begin the invasion. Marcel Galliard reveals that in order to protect his brother, he recommended that Reiner be given the Armored Titan over Porco. A Titan sneaks behind their group, and while Reiner is frozen with fear, eats Marcel. The other 3 manage to get away, and Annie says that they need to return home. Reiner says that they have to continue, so Annie beats him up. When she turns around, he chokes her into submission. They break down the wall and kickstart the entire series before sneaking inside a shelter. They spend years trying to find the Founding Titan, and decide to destroy Wall Rose as well. After the flashback is over, Reiner holds a gun to his mouth and tries to commit suicide. He decides to try and save the younger candidates instead. Falco meets Eren Jaeger, who claims to be Kruger, and faking emotional trauma to hide from his family. Falco agrees to keep his secret, and he tells him about his warrior training. On a side note, the name Kruger is most likely a reference to Eren Kruger, the Owl, and the man who saved Grisha Jaeger. Eren asks Falco to secretly mail letters for him, and he agrees. Commander Magath meets with Willy Tiber and tells him that Marleyan society is too content with war. He hopes that letting Marleyans hear the sound of bullets whizzing by their ears will be enough to stop their self-destructive march towards war. He calls Willy the shadow leader of the nation and asks for his help, to which he agrees. Back in the internment camps, Falco beats Gabi in a race for the first time. She starts yelling at him, so he responds by saying he's doing it for her. On the way back, the candidates see Commander Magath meet with Willy to further discuss their plan. Eren meets his grandfather and chats about his father before his grandfather goes crazy and starts screaming. The caretakers take his grandfather away. The candidates are asked to serve as waiters for a meeting with the leaders of many nations. Udo accidentally spills wine on an Easterner from Hizaru, but she pretends it was her fault and saves him. Willy gives a speech to appease the previously warring nations and invites them to an upcoming theater festival. The theatrical performance starts the next day. Falco calls Reiner and brings him to Eren. Reiner is shocked, and Eren threatens killing the building full of people above them, so he sits and talks for a bit. Falco realizes from Reiner's expression that they know each other from Paradise, and Eren apologizes for tricking him. He says that the worlds outside the wall and inside the walls are the same, that there are always good people and bad people. A mysterious soldier tricks Peak and Porco into falling into a trap. Meanwhile, Willy begins his performance. He begins by telling the common known story of King Fritz and the hero Helos. In short, there was a war in the Eldian Empire where the families of the 8 Titans fought for control. The hero Helos fought alongside the Tiber family and manipulated the Eldian Empire into killing each other, stopping the war and the domination of the Titans. They forced King Fritz to flee and retreat to Paradise. He then states that this story was a complete lie fabricated by King Fritz and the Tibers. King Fritz was tired of the endless bloodshed, so he took as many Eldians as he could to Paradise and closed the gates. He and the Tibers made up the story of Helos, and Fritz threatened that if they were threatened, thousands of colossal titans would be unleashed as revenge. Tiber follows up by saying that too was a lie, that the king's bloodline made a vow renouncing war. He dedicates the protection of Marley to the devil King Fritz and his desire for peace, not the Tibers. But things are different now. The usurper Eren Jaeger stole the founding titan and is on his way to unleash tens of thousands of colossal titans in what's known as the Rumbling. As he finishes his statement and the performance, Eren transforms in the building behind him and eats him. The next episode starts with a flashback where Willy meets with Commander Magath. They expect an attack at the festival, and intentionally clump the high-ranking soldiers together to make them an easier target. They're doing this to try and smoke out the people who are helping Paradise, while also giving Magath the ability to rebuild the military in whatever way he sees fit. Magath warns that if they proceed, Willy will die, but he decides to move forward with the plan anyway. Eren immediately runs and body slams the bleachers full of high-ranking soldiers, killing Zofia in the process. In the ensuing stampede, Udon is trampled while Peak and Porco are recovered by the Panzer unit. Willy's sister transforms into the Warhammer Titan, but she's instantly bodied. She somehow recovers and submits Eren, but Mikasa and the rest of the Scout Corps appear and save him. The Warhammer Titan impossibly gets back up, and Eren realizes that the user's body is hidden underground, so he dives and gets her. He cuts the cord connecting her to the Titan, rendering her powerless. Porco appears and is about to kill Eren when Levi shows up and saves him. Eren tries to eat Willy's sister, but his teeth can't break through the shell. Zeke shows up and joins the battle while Falco makes his way towards Gabi, leaving behind an unconscious Reiner. Meanwhile, at the dock, a huge portion of Marley's fleet has surrounded Liberio. Armin rides in on a boat and transforms, destroying all the ships. Levi uses it as a distraction to knock out Zeke. He drops a grenade and it blows up Zeke's nape. Jean and Sasha take down the Cart Titan, and Armin is picked up in a blimp. Eren realizes that the Jaw Titan is able to break through the crystal, so he uses Porco to crush the shell and eats the Warhammer Titan. Gabi and Falco see this, so they yell to Reiner for help. Reiner gets back up, but in a severely weakened state. Eren easily overpowers Reiner, but he manages to recover the Jaw Titan. Eren is out of strength, so he and the Scout Corps flee to the blimp. Gabi chases after them, and Falco follows. They both make it on board, and Gabi kills Sasha before being captured. Falco and Gabi are brought to Eren. We find out that Zeke is alive and on board. We also find out that Eren infiltrated Marley against his comrades' wishes, essentially making himself a hostage and forcing the Scout Corps to rescue him. Connie tells everyone that Sasha is dead, and Eren starts laughing. The next episode explains what happened in Paradise during the 3-year time skip. In short, a Marleyan battleship is sent to Paradise for recon. The Scout Corps captures it, and the Marleyan forces are betrayed by followers of Zeke. The followers of Zeke, Yelena, Onyakapon, and Nicolo, and a few others call themselves the Anti-Marleyan Volunteers, and give the Scout Corps a message from Zeke. Their message includes a plan to use the Rumbling to save Eldians. In order for the plan to work, it needs to be carried out by the Founding Titan and a Titan with royal blood, namely Eren and Zeke. The Scout Corps brings a message to the Eldian government, but they reject it, saying that Zeke cannot be trusted. It's at this point where Eren infiltrates Marley to make himself a hostage. Back in the present, the Scout Corps mourns Sasha's death. Niccolo seems particularly saddened, and Sasha's parents show up. Niccolo offers them a meal on the house whenever they like. Eren and Zeke are both detained, and by extension, the anti-Marleyan volunteers are also detained by Commander Pixis to make sure they don't free Zeke. They take all of their Titan serum for safekeeping. We have another flashback where Paradis meets its only allies, from a nation called Hizaru. It's revealed that Mikasa is related to an ancient shogun that was trapped in Paradis after King Fritz's fall, making her the last descendant of the nation's ruler. Hyomi, the leader of the Hizaru, agreed to meet with Paradis after a meeting with Zeke. Zeke showed her an ODM device, and specifically the Iceberg stone used to power it. Zeke promised that if they work with Paradis, they would have access to an abundance of it. Hyomi explains the 3 parts of their plan. First, to test the rumbling. Second, to use Hizaru's resources to build Paradis a strong enough military. Thirdly, to pass down the founding Titan and a Titan with royal blood. This means that Historia is forced to reproduce, but she agrees. In the present, we learn that Historia is pregnant, but we don't know exactly who the father is. All we know is that it was someone from her childhood. The public starts rebelling, saying that they should have a say in what happens to Eren Yeager. They feel as though Eren is the only one fighting for their freedom. The info was leaked to the public by Flock and 3 recruits, Holger, Wilm, and Luis. So they're detained and are questioned by Hanj. They request that Eren be released and made leader of the country. They're confined for disobedience and sent to be tried in a court of law. Mikasa takes waifu number 2, Luis, to her cell and says she's glad to be fighting the good fight. Mikasa tries to remind her that she's still the same person from years ago, the girl that she saved from a Titan. Luis says that she only joined the Scout Corps to be like Mikasa. Commander Pixis leads an investigation into the anti-Marleyan volunteers because of Flock's meetings with Yelena. Gabi and Falco break out of the prison they were being held in. They're found in the forest by a girl who offers them lunch at her farm. It turns out that the farm is an orphanage owned by Sasha's parents, who think that they're an orphan brother and sister. Later, Kaya, the girl who found them, reveals that she overheard them saying they're from Marley. Gabi tries to kill her, but Falco stops her. Kaya promises to keep their secret, and she shows them the village that she grew up in until a Titan attack killed her parents. Falco asks how she managed to survive, and she says that she was saved by Sasha, but they don't know who that is. Armin goes to simp for Annie for a bit, but is stopped by yet another cute girl named Hitch standing guard. I can't believe how many cute girls there are this season. Isayama really is blessing us. But whatever. She hands Armin a newspaper article about Eren, which talks about the public's rising distrust in the military and faith in Eren Yeager. They see a riot outside the gates, so Hitch goes to help. Mikasa shows up and takes him to a meeting with Darius Zackley, the commander-in-chief of the Eldian military. He bans them from seeing Eren out of fear their attachment to him is too strong. He shows them a chair that a couple of recruits brought up before they're sent out. 3 other military executives enter the room before the chair explodes, killing them all. Instead of being horrified, the rioters outside cheer, saying that it's a signal to continue the fight. Eren escapes his cell, and he's met by a pretty large group of recruits who pledge their allegiance, and he sets off to find Zeke. The military calls the group of anti-military insurgents Jaegerists, declaring them outlaws. Because the majority of the Jaegerists are from the Scout Corps, Hanj is set to be punished. Commander Pixis, the now highest ranking military officer, shows up and asks who knows about Zeke's location. Only Hanj and Levi's squad know where he's being held. Pixis orders them to work together with the Jaegerists, using Zeke's location as a bargaining chip. Hanj, along with a few other Scout Corps members, go back to Nicolo's restaurant to look for information about Eren. We briefly get some information about the time Zeke attacked the village Ragako. Basically, he turned his spinal fluid into a gas weapon which paralyzed every Eldian who breathed it in, before using his scream to transform them all into Titans. Keep in mind, he can only do this because he has royal blood flowing through his veins. While Hanj and the Scout Corps are on their way to the restaurant, Sasha's parents bring the orphans for the free food. Falco realizes that Sasha was the girl Gabi killed, but he keeps it a secret. The Scout Corps shows up while Gabi and Falco go to the wine cellar to speak with Nicolo, who they know is Marleyan. Nicolo realizes that Gabi was the one who killed Sasha, so he tries to kill her. Falco saves her, but a wine bottle is smashed over his head. Nicolo takes them to Sasha's parents and tells them that they're the ones who killed Sasha. He asks the father to kill Gabi, or he'll do it himself. The Scout Corps arrives, but Nicolo tells them to stay back. Sasha's father takes the knife and convinces Nicolo to let Gabi go. Kaya tries to kill Gabi, but the parents stop her. Nicolo tells Hanj to rinse the wine out of Falco's mouth, even though it's already too late. He explains that there's Zeke's spinal fluid in it, and that Yelena's the only other one who knew about it. This is extremely bad, considering that nearly every high-ranking Eldian drank the wine. While Mikasa and Armin are speaking with Gabi, Eren and the Jaegerists show up. The Jaegerists take the Scout Corps at gunpoint, while Eren speaks with Mikasa, Armin, and Gabi. Mikasa tells Eren that he's being manipulated, but Eren says that he's truly free for the first time in his life. He dumps a bunch of info, so I'll try to condense it. The only reason why Armin keeps checking on Annie is because of Bertolt's attachment to her. Also, the Ackermans were intentionally designed to protect Eldia as king, so when Mikasa killed her parents, it was because Eren ordered her to. Eren admits that he hates Mikasa, so Armin tries to punch him. The defense mechanism activates and Mikasa protects Eren. Eren beats up Armin before taking everyone back to Shiganshina. While they head to Shiganshina, Zeke tries to escape. He screams and Levi's entire squad turns into titans. In headquarters, everyone who drank the wine feels a zap of electricity, so they know that Zeke just did something. Levi kills his entire squad before recapturing Zeke. He plants a bomb inside Zeke to keep him from moving. The Jaegerists and the Scout Corps arrive in Shiganshina and are met by Keith, Sadie's, and a group of cadets. The Jaegerists point guns at them and ask them for any volunteers to join their case. Out of the whole group, 5 people step forward. Flock tells them to beat up Sadie's, so they do it in the absolute most memeable way possible. The next episode is another flashback episode where we see Zeke's upbringing in Liberio. In short, Zeke Jaeger was the worst out of his group of warrior candidates. His father, Grisha Jaeger, in between his secret meetings, teaches Zeke about Eldia's true history. He says that most of the stories about Eldia were made up to make them look like monsters. Zeke misses a real father and son relationship. He's befriended by the then Beast Titan, Tom Deceiver. One day, Zeke overhears his parents' secret meeting, where they say some unknown plan will fail if Zeke doesn't bring his scores up. They find him eavesdropping, and they terrify him into trying to bring his scores up, but he still fails. After this point, his parents become truly abusive, and he grows even closer to Deceiver. He overhears Marlene soldiers talking about an Eldian group known as the Eldian Restorationists, formed by someone named the Owl. He figures out that the people they're talking about are his parents, so he begs them to stop. They refuse, and he tells Deceiver. Deceiver says the only way to save himself is to report them to Marley to prove his loyalty. Zeke turns them in and is taken in by Deceiver. They come up with a plan to euthanize all Eldians to finally kill off all Titans in 100 years, to end all Eldian suffering. Once Deceiver's term is over, Zeke inherits the Beast Titan. Later, when Eren infiltrates Marley, he agrees with Zeke's euthanization plan, stating that there's no greater salvation than never being born in this world. In the present, Zeke purposely triggers a bomb in his chest and it explodes. The Jaegerists, along with Hanjinto, go to retrieve Zeke. They hear the bomb go off, so they set off in search of him. A Titan picks up Zeke and carries him. In Shiganshina, under the threat of Zeke's spinal fluid, Pixis gathers every soldier and forbids opposition. They mark the soldiers with armbands, similar to Marley. The white bands symbolize proud Jaegerists, the red bands symbolize those who were forced to comply with the spinal fluid, and the black symbolizes those who had no idea they drank the spinal fluid. Eren's whole squad and Nicolo are in a prison cell when they're met by Yelena, Onyakapon, and Grease. Grease calls them devils, so Yelena shoots and kills them. She tells them about the euthanization plan. Armin starts crying, saying that he never knew the plan was so noble, and an alarm signaling intruders goes off. Eren meets with Gabi and tells her that he's trying to save Falco. He asks her to use the radio to flush out an intruder when Peak appears and kills the guard. She holds Eren at gunpoint, but Eren says she can't kill him because her orders are to retrieve and not kill the founding Titan. She surrenders and asks to join Eren's cause, shocking Gabi. She offers to prove her loyalty by selling out her comrades, but they have to go to the roof to point them out. Eren agrees, and on the way to the roof, we see Porco hanging out with the other soldiers inside the building. When they get to the roof, Porco attacks from underneath, and Eren transforms for the first time since eating the Warhammer Titan, and Reiner and Colt appear with a large force in blimps to fight. So this is the end to one of the best seasons in anime history. If this video was useful, share it with a friend, and make sure to subscribe for more content exactly like this. Next in the works is a My Hero Academia Season 5 recap, so get hyped. Bye.